What's up everyone? I am doing a bit of an informal video today while I'm on holidays. I'm actually in Bali on university holidays, which has been great. But just going to do a short little video as we start to approach the Bond medical school application date, and as other people find out whether or not they did or didn't get into other unis. It's kind of about this time of the year where I start to receive a few messages from people about information on the application, information for the interview, information for the psychometric testing. So today I'll just do a short video specifically on the psychometric testing because that's probably what I get the most questions about. And I'll also follow this up with a video or two going through my sample practice questions that I wrote that are on my website. So I'll link that below just because there's so few resources online that I thought it would be a nice little chance to write up a kind of a simulated practice exam so that people have a little bit of an idea of the sorts of questions they ask. Today's more about just going through a little bit of information and giving you guys kind of an understanding of what's going on, just because I do get a lot of questions, as I said, so it's probably easier to just vocalize it and speak to the camera. I've got a sick little rice paddy in the background, I'll show you. So I've got a pretty cool view, it's not focusing, but anyway. So if you are applying to Bond University, the two big hurdles, or three, sorry. First is you've got to have a GPA, that's good enough, or a high school score. Then you'll get offered to do, or invited to do the psychometric testing, and then you'll be invited to do an interview if you're successful. So with the psychometric testing, it's not one test, it's two tests that make up the psychometric testing. The first one is the MSCEIT, Myers-Sullivan Caruso Emotional Intelligence Exam, that stands for, excuse my pronunciation. And then you have the personality test. I think it's the MPI-3 personality test. So there's two tests that make up the psychometric test, and the MSCEIT's the tricky one. The MSCEIT's the one that people probably don't know about or don't prepare for, or are probably not sure how to approach. And given Bond give you about a week turnaround from the invitation until you actually have to sit the test, it can be quite daunting because it doesn't give you a lot of time to prepare, research, or understand what the test is asking for. So just off the bat, I would say that the MSCEIT is the one that I would be researching to help myself prepare. It's the one that I would get comfortable with and try to understand before I go into the test. That's where your performance is ranked, is on the MSCEIT. The MSCEIT can give you a quantitative performance result for your emotional intelligence, whereas the personality test just breaks down your personalities and presents those alongside your MSCEIT. So, getting an invitation to or getting an offer for interview will be mainly based on your performance in the MSCEIT. Now, there is degrees of research that suggest you can't improve your MSCEIT score with preparation, and there is also a host of other research that suggests that you can improve your MSCEIT score with preparation. Now, Bond advertised that you can't, but I would not listen to that. The first time I did the MSCEIT test when I applied for Bond, I was unsuccessful, and then I later received assistance in applying, and it made an astronomical difference to my score. I genuinely didn't realize certain aspects of emotional literacy that come into effect when you're doing the test. There's 8 different sections and they all test different kind of parameters of emotional intelligence, and within those 8 there are probably 2 or 3 that I would say are very difficult that preparation doesn't assist with, but then the other majority of the other ones I would say that preparation does go a long way to improving your score, both with just having a better understanding of emotional language and what the test is trying to assess when you are doing the questions. So the MSCEIT's the big one. I won't spend too much time on the personality test. It's literally just like all other personality tests. You can look them up, you can do them before you go into Bond. My advice would be just, try and remember that certain extremes in medicine are probably not great. So it's not that you avoid saying them, but every question is got nuance. For example, if there's a skydiving question, you might like skydiving, but you probably wouldn't say you extremely love skydiving if there are parts of you that think that, it would be a scary process. So just think about the nuances when you answer the questions. Oh yeah, a little bit more. I wrote a few things down just to make sure I cover some of the things that I want to. With the MSCEIT, It's based on consensus marking. So one of the big questions that people usually send to me is, how is it marked? And is there right answers? And the answer is, in a way there are right answers, and in a way there are not. The way that the MSCEIT is marked is if they got 5,000 people in North America to sit the test, and you will get allocated points based on what the majority of people answered. So for example, if the majority of people answered A, let's say 50%, and you answered A on the test, you would receive 0.5 to your total score. So basically, the right answer is what the majority vote for. Now, you could have what's considered the technically right answer based on what psychologists would perceive, but then the majority didn't perceive that. So that wouldn't be the right answer. I know this is getting technical, but basically all I'm saying is the answer is correct based on, or the score you get for each question is based on what the majority of people voted or answered. So that's how it's marked. And there are 144 items, so there are 144 spots where you would write or select an answer. Different sections have different amounts of answers for one question. So there's a picture section where you'd have to give 5 different or 4 different emotions for each picture, and each one of those would be considered one item. There's not much else I wanted to go through. My advice to people preparing would be to just send me an email or message. Jump on my website too. I wrote a blog or two about some of the free resources that are out there for people that do want to apply and try and prepare for the MSCEIT. I think those resources are invaluable. I think they would go a long way to helping you improve your own emotional vocabulary and emotional intelligence and literacy. But if not, I'll leave my email down below and my website. I have some free questions on there, as I mentioned, which I think will go a long way to providing you a base awareness of what the MSCEIT is likely to ask you. Send me a message and good luck. If you have any questions, reach out. Sweet. Bye-bye.